Hey everybody, it's Justin here, aka Demonic Sweaters. Today I've got a drum lesson for you guys. What we're going to be talking about is the importance of counting. By the way, if you're looking for some electronic drums for your home or your apartment, you can check out my Amazon store down below. And I've got a lot of packages set up in there already. Basically everything you need to buy to start learning the drums in pretty much every price range that you could imagine. So check out my links down below and let's go ahead and get started on this lesson. Now, this is actually something that a lot of new students kind of overlook, and it's really, really important to learn how to count correctly. And when I say counting correctly, I'm talking about all of the different note types that you may encounter while playing the drums. If you learn how to count those note types, you will know what you're supposed to play on the drums. And I'm here basically to explain how this works. Now, let's get started. I'm going to assume that this is a total beginner watching this. Maybe you're not, but you can skip ahead using the timestamps if you want. But let's go ahead and start out with quarter notes. So what is up on the screen right now is a snare drum part in 4/4 time signature, which means we have 4 beats in one measure, as well as a quarter note is considered 1 beat. That's what the time signature tells us. Since 1 beat is considered 1 quarter note, we are simply going to count quarter notes 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, to play this, we would just play 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's move on to the next exercise here, which is eighth notes. Since a quarter note is considered 1 beat, and we know that there's only 4 beats in one measure, we're not going to count past 4, but we still need to account for those other notes in there somehow, the other eighth notes. So we're going to count eighth notes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. With 16th notes, we still have 4 beats in a measure. So we're not going to count to 16, we're still going to count to 4, but we need to make some other sound to account for all those other notes. So the way that we count 16th notes is like this: 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, so just to review, we're going to count quarter notes: 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to count eighth notes: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And we're going to count 16th notes: 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So what happens when you start mixing these notes together in the same measure? Well, all you have to do is count the quarter notes as quarter notes, the eighth notes as eighth notes, and the 16th notes as 16th notes. For example, what is up on the screen right now would be counted like this: 1, 2, and 3 E and a 4. 1, 2, and 3 E and a 4. So I would play it like this. One, 2, and 3 E and a 4. Now notice how when we reach the 2, we said and after the 2. That's because that note is an eighth note. So we're going 1, 2, and then we get to the 3, because the last note was an eighth note, and then we're going to start with 16th notes. We would go 3 E and a, and then 4, because the last note is a quarter note. So 1, 2, and 3 E and a 4. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I know in the beginning it can be a little confusing, but all you have to do is think about whichever note type it is and whichever beat you're on, you're going to continue with that beat and count the note type as you see it. Okay, so let's make it a little bit more complex. Take a look at what's on the screen right now. We would count this: 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 4. 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 4. Notice how when the groupings of notes are 16th notes and 8th notes together, the 16th note has another line connecting the top. So that's how we know that's a 16th note. And we're going to say 1 E on that first note there. So 1 E and 2 and a 3 and 4. Now, why is this helpful? Well, basically, if you know how to count and if you can count in rhythm, then you know how to play the part. Okay, now the way that we can apply this counting technique to learning grooves on the drum set is actually quite simple. With the example groove on the screen, we already know that we're going to be playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, so there's no need to count each individual eighth note. But what we do want to count are the bass drum and snare drum parts. This way we can figure out what we're supposed to play on those two drums while the hi-hat is doing eighth notes. So for example, we would count this part, 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. Just the bass drum and snare drum. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. And this is how we would play it. Another thing that might be helpful is if you kind of raise the pitch of your voice on the snares. So if I were to count it like this, 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. That usually helps my students understand that I'm talking about the snare as opposed to the bass drum. So these little things are actually very helpful when learning how to play grooves on the drums. Every time I'm learning something new, if I'm reading a song or something like that and there's a phrase on the drums I'm not totally sure about, the first thing I ask myself is, how do I count this? If I can figure out how to count it, then I can figure out how to play it. So it's really important to learn how to count, and it will really help you learn how to play the parts on drums. So there you have it. Learning how to count is actually pretty easy, and it's very helpful for learning how to play grooves on the drums. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Click the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload new content, and I'll see you all in the next video.